Good morning. The hour of 8 o'clock having arisen, we will call the Transportation Committee to order. Member Rogal, Abraham, Knapp, and Reeves are in attendance, so we have a quorum. First item on the agenda, number 2A and B, the approval of the minutes from November 7th regular meeting and recommend approval of bills and transfers totaling $845,194.69. Can I have a motion? Motion by member Abraham, second by member Reeves. Do we have any comments or questions? Nope, seeing none. We'll be voting on approval of the minutes and recommendation of paying the bills. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The opinion of the chair is the ayes have it, and the minutes are approved and the bills approved for being paid. Do we have any appearances by members of the public or county employees?
Mr. Chairman, we've had no requests this morning.
All right, maybe someday someone will come and visit us. 4A1, Departmental Matters, request approval of a bridge fund resolution for Lexington Leroy Road, CH21, Baker Bridge, Section 20-00041-06-BR. Do I have a motion? Motion by member Abraham, second by member Reeves. Let's see. Mr. Stokes, would you like to walk us through the proposal?
Thanks. Is that working now? Yes, this is our county bridge project that we're going to do in 2024. It's not a full replacement project. It's we're going to tear off the existing deck and put a new deck on this bridge. The bridge has got steel beams on it, and I do have a few pictures to kind of show the condition. So this is 2004, just kind of looking down the road. And then, so it's kind of a side view, and so the abutments and the piers are all in good shape, and the steel's in decent shape as well. There's a few rust spots, but nothing to be concerned about. So the big problem with this is it's a little narrow, and as you can see, the deck's not in real good shape. So and it's got so it's got like the guardrails out of spec, and so what we're going to do is replace the deck and go down to the steel beams and put a new deck on. So so right now from the inside of curb's 28 foot wide, and these curbs are 2 foot on each side. And so the new bridge, we're gonna get rid of these curbs, and so we'll have 2 foot on each side for more, basically 32 foot wide bridge once we're done here. So it'll be a self-cleaning deck, and so here's just kind of some more pictures of it. You can kind of see how bad the deck is on this. So we talked about doing where we've done like a latex overlay on this, but we decided to get rid of the curb, and we wanted and with the steel beams in good shape, we could just do a whole new deck. So and there's a kind of a side view of the deck itself and some of the cracks in there. So we're finalizing the design on this right now, and so trying to go for a letting here maybe at the end of January. So once we get everything finalized on the plans, and this is kind of the picture. We are going to put riprap on the abutments and around the piers to prevent scour. You can kind of see stuff starting to kind of wash away here and here in the middle. And so it doesn't have any riprap on it. So that's kind of what we were actually wanting to do this project a couple years ago, but we got held up on some environmental issues on this with, I think, tadpoles. So we kind of had to do some additional studies and get additional approvals. But that'll help alleviate the scour on that. So, and then so when we go out and rate, the bridges, we go out and check. We look at the deck and the substructure, which is the beams, and then the superstructure. I'm sorry, the superstructure is the beams, and then the substructure is the piers and that. And so there's on a rating scale of 1 through 8. So 8's the best. And so the deck right now is, as we got it as listed as 6, and then the super and the subs are both at 7s. And so we think at this time the best option is to just replace the deck, and this bridge will, probably last us another 40 to 50 years. We may have to go in and paint some of the steel if it does rust a little bit later on, but I think at this point we're still in good shape.
Do any members have any questions? Member Knapp?
What's the weight limit? What's the weight limit?
So the weight limit on the road is the road itself is 80,000 pounds.
Okay.
These are actually designed for over 80,000 pounds. So if we do get some heavier loads, let's say 120, 150,000 pound structure, it'll be able to take that weight as well. Every once in a while, not all the time. And so if we do get like a mega load that would be coming through there, then we'd have to do some more analysis. We'd probably have to send that off to a structural engineer to take a look at it.
You mentioned Teflon. What's Teflon coating? I think you mentioned Teflon.
Latex overlay. I'm sorry. Yeah. So that's kind of a whole nother process that we do to where they would take the existing bridge deck and so they would come in and like scarify the top 2 or 3 inches and then remove that, and then they put this and then it all mixes up with sand and cement and some fibers, and so then they just overlay the deck with that. And so we've done that a couple jobs like that. We did one a couple years ago. And
This is not a good application.
no, we think this we want to get rid of the curb and just make it as wide as possible. It's kind of a busy road here, and so and with the shape that the deck's in, we think it's a full replacement would be better.
Thanks.
Sure.
Any other members have questions? I've got one or two real quick, Jerry. So what kind of traffic are we seeing on this? I mean, taking down the bridge is going to have to reroute, so I'm just curious what is the
Yeah,
impact
so
is gonna be.
the average ADT is 800 cars a day. So it's pretty significant going from Lexington to Leroy or Lexington to wherever. So, the other problem is there's not really a good route around this. There's a lot of township roads that kind of wind and weave and that type of thing. So, the goal is to try to get this out for bid as soon as possible, let the contractor start as soon as possible. As long as we can bid it, we're actually got a July 1st completion date right now as planned. Because we shouldn't have to wait on any steel or anything like that. It'd just be basically taking out the deck and reforming the new one.
Is this a school bus route? I'm not sure what the routes are out.
I believe it. Yes, it is.
So that'll be impacted briefly, probably? Or at the
Probably,
end of the
yeah,
school year?
maybe 2 months, because we're hoping that they can start in like middle of March, 1st of April, so it's all done, definitely by harvest and that.
All right. Any other questions? All right. We've had a motion, and now we'll have a vote on request approval of the bridge fund resolution for Lexington and Leroy Road. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Opinion of the chair is the ayes have it. We'll move on to 4A2, request approval of a motor fuel tax resolution for Lexington Leroy Road, CH 21, section 22-00044-14RS. Do I have a motion? Motion by member Abraham, second by member Reeves. Mr. Stokes?
So this is a project, another on the Lexington Leroy. It's south, about 4 miles south of the bridge project. And so this is a road that was done in 2002, and it was done with a cold mix was the process that they used back at that time. And we call it the sponge road because it's got some rutting and we don't have a lot of rutting on our county highways, but this particular highway we do. And so we're working on the design process right now to finalize everything, but we're looking at doing a cold in place recycling project where they come in and they till up 4 to 5 inches of the existing pavement and then they add emulsion into the pavement as they mix it up, and then they spread that back out through a paver, and then so that gets hard. It takes about 10 days or so to get that cured, and then we'll put 2 to 3 inches of hot mix over the top of it. And so it allows us to use the existing pavement that's there, so we're not having to necessarily, mill it up and haul it away. We can use what's there. And we've done this probably usually do about one project a year with this process. And it turns out really good. And so I do have some pictures of this road as well. So this is looking north at Route 9, and so I don't have the year, but we put so this was done, and then we put a slag coating over the top of it as a pavement preservation. But you can see some of the cracks in here, and see the rutting to where the discoloration there in the middle of the lane. This is kind of going up a mile. Again, you can kind of see some of the cracking in the middle. Here's a better picture. You can see to where like our snow plows have worn off the stuff in the middle of lanes, but the actual slag is still in the wheel lanes. But you can see cracking. The ride, it's not very smooth at all, and so I think like the material on top is just kind of pushed out over the years into the shoulder. I don't know if you can see, we've lost quite a bit of shoulder, or not shoulder, but quite a bit of the edge of pavement over the years, and so we've kind of moved our stripe in. You can see that there. So just kind of time that we need to address this particular roadway. This is at 1600, kind of Fort Jesse going out. If you take that all the way out to this road. But kind of just similar all the way throughout. It's 4 miles, it's a straight shot, so it'll be a good shot for them to do the cold in place recycling on it. And then this is up at Route 165 then on the north end of the project. So, any questions?
Any members have any questions? Member Reeves?
Upon completion, will this be a Class 2 truck route then?
Yeah, well, it'll be an 80,000 pound design, but we are applying for TARP funds to get additional money for the Class 2 truck, to make it a Class 2 truck route. So it'll still be an 80,000 pound all year round weather road. But if we get additional funding, then we'll classify it as a Class 2 route.
Okay, excellent.
Any other questions? Nope, seeing none. We have a motion for request approval of motor fuel tax resolution for the Lexington Leroy Road. All those in favor, vote aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The request is approved. 4A3, request approval of a motor fuel tax resolution 24-00000-00-CS. Mr. Stokes?
So,
Oh, sorry. Hold on. I need a motion. Motion by member Reeves, second by member Abraham. Now it's yours.
So with the motor, anything that we do motor fuel tax expenditures on, we have to take a resolution through the county board, and it has to get sent to IDOT for approval to expend those motor fuel tax funds. So this particular resolution is a resolution for the salary of the county engineer, and then and using the motor fuel tax funds, but also then we get reimbursed by the state to pay half the salary from our federal STR allotments. So so this was kind of the salary that's been in place, or from 2022 when the last reappointment was to for the next 6 years. Then,
Do any members have any questions? Seeing none, request approval of motor fuel tax resolution. All those in favor, vote aye. Opposed, nay. Opinion of chairs, the ayes have it, and the request is approved. We'll move on to 4B, items presented for information. Number 1, project summaries. Mr. Stokes?
so the first project is the Hoffman Bridge out near Colfax. So this project is not yet complete. I thought it was gonna be done this month, but, so they're still kind of cleaning up, stripping the deck. They've got the hot mix in, as you can kind of see here, for the approaches to the deck. There's going to hold up on the bridge rail, so that's kind of where we're kind of at a standstill. They're still out there cleaning up and doing some punch list items, but there was an issue with the subcontractor, the guardrail subcontractor and the supplier. So they're having issues getting the bridge rail in, and so we're hoping maybe next week that it's supposed to come in. And so they got to put the bridge rail up, and then put the guardrail attached to the bridge rail, and really and then they have to come in and groove the bridge deck so it's not going to be, because right now it's just fresh concrete, so it'll be slick in the wintertime. So they come in and they groove transversely across the bridge to improve the grip on the bridge. So they'll have to do that after they put the guardrail in. There was talk about trying to get the groovers in there with the guardrail, but it's going to be too dangerous. So so anyway, everything's turned out good there. It's just kind of in a holding pattern right now.
Anyone have any questions? Member Reeves?
So if they're having problems getting the guardrail on this other project, if we have a workaround, because that's not really a big inconvenience for that town, but the other one, like
I know.
he was talking with the school buses, could be a big problem.
Yes, we never had the issue with the bridge rail before. I think something happened at the steel supplier's facility. Like there might have been a fire or something like that, and so they were trying to get other places, but they couldn't do it. I don't know why we just found out. I mean, we just found out about this like last week. So, so we're still looking into more of the details behind it. And, yeah, that's going to be a big problem if they can't get that done on this next year's bridge.
What's the resolution if they say it's going to be 3 months? Do they have a,
Well, then I would probably have them come out and put some parapet walls up, and attach them to the structure. So nobody can go off the side, and then we could temporarily open it. And so there's some options there to do, but I'm kind of hoping that they can get this like they said they can in the next week or two.
excellent.
Member Abraham?
Do you have an ETA on when it will be completed?
No, not for sure. I'm hoping by Christmas.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? All right, Shinoa Road?
So they started this project back in August, and then they were having issues getting the railroad insurance. There's 2 railroads that go through on this project, and so they started here maybe at the beginning of November. So I do have some pictures of this project. So this is actually standing on the UP Railroad that runs along Route 66. So this is looking north. This is Union Roofing here on the right side. So all the surface is done, and so there's basically some punch list items and some other things that they got to address to get this project complete. So this is kind of Route 66 looking back to the south. So this is one of the railroads that's not in good shape. This is the Geneseo Railroad. So we went up to the railroad. When we get within 50 feet of the railroad, you have to have additional railroad insurance. The contractor does. And so then we have to get flaggers out here for the railroad in case a train comes. We went 25 foot away from this, hoping that they would come back sooner or later and do something with this crossing because it's really rough, and it's the railroad's responsibility to take care of the crossings, and they don't necessarily like us getting in there right away, but we did go 25 foot away from the tracks at this particular location. So this is kind of getting closer to Route 24. And this is what they were working on last week. We had a couple of these parking areas that were hot mix before that we went back and put hot mix in. And so that kind of took them a little time to do, and so anyway, so this project's complete. Like they're finishing up some punch list items. So that's kind of where this project stands right now.
Anyone have any questions? Member Reeves?
So other than this, how many other railroad crossings in the county do we have issues with? I know of one other one that's pretty nasty.
It just depends. I mean, it seems like the last 5 years, some of the railroads have come in and addressed some of their rougher crossings, whether it be Norfolk Southern on the south end, or actually they've done a lot of work on this crossing at different times. I think they were going to do this crossing a couple years ago, but they were going to have to close it on July 4th weekend. And Shinola has a big festival on July 4th weekend. So basically, we kind of told them no. I think we talked to the mayor at that time. Well, of course, they haven't been back to fix it since. And so I don't know if we got any of them that are quite this bad. But there are some out there, and then there's some on a few of the township roads that are bad. And so, but there's also some where they're trying to improve them, where they're putting, we got a project where they're going to do one in Old Town that's kind of steep, where they're going to come in and smooth out the transition and do some work there. So they are working on them, but it's hit or miss, I think, on each year when they do them and where.
Anyone else? All right. B2, Gridley Road.
So, this is a little bit different. I just kind of want to bring this to your attention and maybe get your thoughts on this. Or I received a letter here from the Parklands Foundation, and so. So this is on the Gridley Road, just north of PJ Keller, and so it's the Merwin Preserve here that they have access off of the county highway, and so then they have their parking area here, and so the issue they're having is when certain times a year, especially like in the spring and the fall. People are parking out here along the roadway and creating a problem on sight distance for the people that are leaving the parking lot. But also there's a residence that lives here that when they're trying to pull out of their drive, they're having they can't see. So the Parklands Foundation was requesting us to put up no parking signs. And so I haven't had really a chance to dive into the details, but I guess just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on it. In the packet, I put a map in there that kind of shows where this west entrance located on the Gridley Road. And what the Parklands is going to do is they're going to put a sign in their parking lot that says overload parking to use the north gate, which is about 1.5 miles, kind of north, and then kind of on the Clarksville Road. There's another access they have to this preserve. So we're kind of looking at this. So this is kind of the Google Street View. I did go out there and take some pictures. The traffic is probably about 2,000 cars a day or so, 1,500, 2,000 cars a day on this Gridley Road. So I can understand the need for the sight distance. I guess the thing is if we want to do something for just certain times a year, to whether it's in the fall or spring, whether we want to look into this a little closer, and and I can certainly look into it and talk to Mr. Sanders a little bit more about it. So yeah, here's kind of what. So yeah, I think they're parking a lot along the street. I don't know. I'm afraid that maybe if we put no parking signs here, they might just go up the road. There is a guardrail on a lot of this area, except for this stretch that they can park. So So I just kind of wanted to bring your attention. I'll probably be looking at it a little bit more moving forward. I didn't know if anybody had any comments.
Members have any comment? Member Reeves?
Looking to the south, isn't that a bridge down there? There's a guardrail on.
Yes.
What is it, the east side?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's guardrail here, and then the bridge starts here, and it's kind of a narrow bridge. Yes. And so, yeah, so the guardrail for that bridge, I mean, this is all the extension of that guardrail that comes all the way down here. But on the east side of the road, the guardrail stops at this point. I mean, we did talk about maybe extending it down so they can't park, but I don't know if it's necessary. Another option is if they could maybe expand their parking a little bit more. Here, they'd have to take out some trees and brush to do that. But so I just kind of wanted to bring it to your attention. And
Sorry, Member Abraham?
About how many cars are parking there?
that's a good question. I don't really know. I could try to get that information. I'm guessing you probably looking in there, you might be able to fit 10 inside there. And then, my guess is they're probably parking here in the grass as well. So probably a dozen cars and then it's full. And I don't know, I guess another thing I had thought, well, we could put signs out there, but they still might park there. And, that's going to be more of an enforcement issue at that point.
Member Reeves?
Is there a particular, you said seasonality, is there a particular time of the year when this is a hot spot or?
I think in the fall when they're, when the colors are changing and stuff, and then they go out here and hike this preserve and that type of thing. So I've never seen it. This is kind of the first I have heard about it. It was here this last month or so.
Anyone else? No? All right, thanks. 5A, Departmental Matters, Administrator Taylor.
I have nothing for the committee today. Thank you.
All right. Other business and communication, does any member have anything? No? All right. I'm going to run through a couple housekeeping things, but first, our next meeting will be January 2nd, kicking off the new year at 8 a.m. So some of the things that we wanted to talk about that we're reminding people of are some of the Robert's Rules of Order for running of and participation in committees. So going forward, we'll be requesting that members ask to speak and be recognized before they speak. When we were in the other room, we were a little more familiar and didn't have the microphones and didn't have some of that, so there was a little more give and take as far as communication during committees and conversations that went on. So we're going to try and smooth that over. You noticed we changed things up a little bit. I actually reread the motion before we actually took a vote. Little things like that will be going forward. How we address each other as far as members and chair and things like that, we will be changing going forward, just to try and uniform all of our committees and get back into the Robert Rules of Order procedure. Does anybody have any questions? No? Anybody? All right. Well,
Hey, Jim.
Oh, sorry.
I don't have a question about the Robert's rules, but I have a question in general.
go right ahead.
Were you going to adjourn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm just kind of curious, and I apologize, I'm new, but I'm trying to make the most of your time and everyone else's, but is there like a 10-year, 20-year plan for transportation? If there's going to be 5% growth in traffic every year, 20 years from now, we know we're going to have this amount of traffic, and then what's that road system look like? Do we have anything like that in place?
Jerry might be able to address this better. I know we have like a 5-year plan that we go off of, and IDOT has a 5 and 10-year plan, but Jerry?
Sure. So, so we do have a 5-year plan that we do every year. And I probably should have brought one for you, but I can get you one that kind of,
Is it online?
it should be. I don't know if it's been updated yet since it just got approved, but I'll go ahead and send you one just so you have it, and then we'll put it online. We usually put it online as well. But so we do that, and then we also I guess every year we do a long-range transportation plan with the McLean County Regional Planning Commission, and that's so we do that, and so that looks a little further out. Some of those projects are kind of just generalized and kind of some of the ones that we know we have coming up. But as far as like projected traffic growth and that we don't really look at that unless we know that there's going to be a bunch of development that's coming down or a certain type of development in an area. Most of our traffic stays pretty consistent on the county highways. Now, if we redo a county highway, and it usually gets more traffic depending on what it's connected to. But so we don't necessarily look at projections and growth like that, but we look at the current traffic counts, the age of the roads, and that type of thing when we put that all together.
As far as the planning, I'm sorry, can I continue?
Speak into the mic.
Move the mic down so I can hear you a little better.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you mentioned Regional Planning Committee and their forecasting. Is that something available on a website that I could review?
Yes, I believe the long-range transportation plan is posted on their website.
Under regional?
Yeah, McLean County Regional Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you. I'm just curious.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. And just so everybody knows also, and the guise of what we do, staff is always available to answer questions before and after committees, or shoot them an email or things like that. So if you have follow-up questions, Jerry or Cassie would be able to, Administrator Taylor would be able to answer any of your questions. So going forward, so you don't have to wait till the next committee and things like that. So also, before we adjourn, I'd like to welcome our newest member, Member Knapp. Welcome to the Transportation Committee. This is actually a long committee for us. We usually actually are 10, 15 minutes. We're usually pretty through everything, but we like to get a lot of stuff done, and we work very well together, everyone on the committee. So welcome to the committee.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And with that, we will adjourn. See everybody bright and early on January 2nd.